It looks like speaking of authoritarian, speaking of a dictator-like people, the media, the CTV, they're out there reporting on this, saying that it's time for everybody to have a mandated third vaccination for COVID-19. So it's not enough that Canada is one of the last nations on the planet stubbornly clinging to these federal vaccine mandates, and they're damaging us. Experts, and I always put those in quotes so you can't see it when I rant it, are calling for the definition of fully vaccinated to now be expanded to involve 3 shots. Now, vaccine mandates have already put thousands of Canadians out of work, and then at the same time, while industries are ironically in the midst of a labor crisis. They're costing the Canadian economy untold millions or probably billions of dollars as labor disruptions lead to supply chain disruptions while travel and tourism are strangled. Yet experts, given oxygen by our legacy media, want to make this worse. And currently, about 82% of Canadians are considered to be fully vaccinated. That means they've received 2 of the shots of an approved COVID-19 vaccine. If Health Canada accepts the expert recommendations and a 3rd shot's required in order to be considered fully vaccinated, only 49% of Canadians are going to qualify. This needs to be taken seriously. So yeah, CTV published a large feature piece on this today as they continue to embrace the legacy media role of pursuing an impossible COVID-0 goal. Rest assured, this is just the beginning of a press for this redefinition of what fully vaccinated is. The experts, by the way, are using data from analysis at the Chinese University of Hong Kong. You can find that in their story. A real reputable source of information, to be sure. Chinese, they've never led us astray, have they? Now, even the World Health Organization considers 1 or 2 doses of vaccine to be adequate to define somebody as being vaccinated. The World Health Organization even. Imagine the catastrophic consequences if more than half of Canadians are suddenly no longer considered vaccinated by health authorities. The rush for 3rd doses of vaccines will overwhelm the healthcare providers as people panic and try and get doses before they find themselves unemployed or banned from travel or some of the other number of things due to vaccine mandates. And even if there is a buffer for people to get it done, this is going to lead to all sorts of disruptions. The people who never got the 2 shots in the first place are certainly never going to get the 3rd one. I suspect many people, such as myself, I got the first 2, but I'm putting my foot down. I've had enough. I'm not going to let myself become a pincushion for a disease that's extremely unlikely to harm me. We know what this thing is about now. While the rest of the world is putting the remnants of the pandemic behind them, Canada is insistent on keeping the mandates and possibly even expanding them. Now, I can live with experts recommending COVID booster shots and making their case for it. It should be open for discussion. These experts, though, never want to leave it to free choice. That's why they're lobbying health authorities to formally change the definition. Then the power of the law can be used to try and coerce people into being injected. One has to wonder how many of these experts have their research funded by vaccine manufacturers. It's pretty lucrative, or it certainly can be, when millions of people are coerced by the government to consume your product. With the billions that pharmaceutical companies have been raking in this last couple of years, they can certainly spare a few bucks to buy some love from a cadre of experts. When will Canadians decide that they've had enough? If the government starts mandating and pushing a 3rd injection of vaccines, I suspect we'll see protests that are going to make the truckers' convoy pale in comparison. There just isn't enough case to be made with citizens to continue this. I don't think the ideologically blinded Trudeau government cares, though. It looks like Canadians are soon going to be faced with one of 2 choices. Either roll up your sleeves every few months for another shot or take to the streets. Our backs are against the wall now, guys.